We have a map now. I'll be talking about that during the course. It's called the Azoth. It's 7 steps that you go through. I thought it was about something. It turns out it's about everything. And now that we have a map, we don't have to worry so much about where we're going. In other words, we don't have to worry about the why. So if you'll just breathe with me, we'll bring ourselves into a state of relaxation and patience. And from there, I'll talk a little bit about why this is so important, even though we're dropping the why. Okay. So breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. I want you to become very present. In today's world, we're constantly trying to worry about where we're going or where we have been. This affects our language. When we're trying to manipulate other people or ourselves, push ourselves harder, or escape from a situation, turning to the various things that we turn to, craving the various things that we crave, all of that is story, all of that is removing us from the present moment. Breathe in. Breathe out. And so it's highly important to remember to breathe. Obviously you're breathing anyway, without even thinking about it, but the idea is to put your attention on something, either the breath, the sensation in your feet, the sounds in the room. This will bring you into the present. In life, you'll have particular emotions that grip you, either positive ones or negative ones. The negative ones you tend to want to get rid of, and the positive ones you tend to want to keep. The negative ones you'll probably be pushing out of your own awareness. This program is encouraging you to bring it all into awareness. Why in the world would you want to do that? That I thought I should address. Why in the world would you want to do that? When you're communicating to people, whether it's in sales or trying to convince them of something, which is often what we're doing in life, there are things called micro-expressions. They're quick, they're fast, they're only detectable by the subconscious. If you're not being authentic with yourself, you're repressing your emotions, hiding from something, you're basically, and I don't mean this as a judgment, but you're being cowardly. I do it too. We don't want to admit our vulnerability. Well, guess what? The way to be happy is to admit when you're unhappy. The way to be strong is to admit when you're vulnerable. That is what a strong person does. You don't have to literally go into every conversation telling people how you're feeling vulnerable, but the idea is that you're being honest with yourself. When you're being honest with yourself, through repetition, you can become comfortable with yourself. It's more than just being honest with yourself. It's not being guarded. Today, people are feeling the need to guard themselves, to defend themselves, to suppress themselves. And this creates an inner tension. This creates a separation between your yin and your yang, your masculine and your feminine. This is not new age woo stuff. This is actually what's going on. You can feel it in your body. And if you're not being able to feel it in your body, it's just because you haven't been meditating enough and there's not a level of sensitivity, which is part of what we're going to be doing. But when you see that you're out of balance, when you see that you're suppressing aspects of yourself, you're essentially lying to yourself, and therefore no one is going to trust you, or less people are going to trust you, I should say. But also you're not going to be as happy. So the idea is that we're allowing whatever's happening, we're allowing ourselves to feel vulnerable, we're not denying, we're not escaping, we are accepting. And the more we can build this process throughout the course of the year of accepting ourselves, the more people will accept us because we are comfortable with ourselves. I will allude to this prize of this sixth circle on the Azoth, where it's a unicorn lying down, for the virgin, not for the hunter. The idea is to not be a hunter anymore. So many marketing programs are trying to get you to be a hunter, and this world is trying to get you to be a hunter. Well, the real prize comes when you are willing to be the prey, when you are comfortable in a state of vulnerability. I know you're not hearing this message very often, and it's often associated with weakness. But if you're allowing yourself to be vulnerable, if you're brave enough to face any emotions or thoughts or opinions that are coming up, amazing things will happen. And so that's the invitation of the program. I'm not expecting you to be able to do this overnight. It takes practice. But trust me, it is the path to leading a life of peace. It is the path to getting what you truly want. And I know it's paradoxical. How could being vulnerable, how could accepting myself as prey lead me to get what I want? That makes no sense. I need to be out there as a hunter. No. The hunter will come from inside. The hunter will come from inside something deeper. The hunter will come from something inside deeper inside yourself. You are not driving it. There is no need to control life. Relax into this and allow it to work on you. You've been working on life for your whole life, and has it led to happiness? Has it led to satisfaction? This is something different. This is the opposite. This is relaxing the logical yang mind and embracing the yin intuitive heart. Trust the process. I'm only asking for a year of your life. No. I'm only asking for roughly 20 minutes each week. Big changes can happen, but it requires a whole shift of perspective. But right now, the idea is to drop any agenda. You came to the program, you came to this meditation moment with some particular agenda that you're trying to push for, some kind of future that you want. And that's fine. That's what brought you here. But now, in order to start the Azoth Circle, in order to go through the 7 stages, it's advisable to drop that agenda. And that so fits with the first circle. The first circle is a crow picking at a skull. I'm going to get into this in a moment in the class, but I wanted to do this preamble right now. Why would anyone want to be a corpse, unburied? Why would you want to be that? And that's why people didn't go to alchemy. This is like the first gate. They were not interested in people who were not willing to go into the dark places. They were not interested in people who weren't willing to say, okay, this is part of life, death is part of life, and I'm going to embrace even that idea. I'm going to be able to surrender to the process, even if it looks pretty grim. So that's kind of what I have to start with too, you know. I mean, I'm a marketing person. I'd rather start with the unicorn and talk to you about how the unicorn only lies down for the virgin. If you chase the unicorn, it will never surrender. But if you're a pure virgin, then it will come to you. But I can't start with that, although I just did. But really, you can't start with that. You got to start with the first step. I really want people who are committed to this. I can't go deeply until I know people are really on board. I hope that you'll trust this process. We're going to go through the first few circles very lightly in the first class and the second class, and really after the first month is when we're going to dive really deeply. It's about creating state changes to get you willing to go into what each of these circles is teaching, and then the other symbols as well. But it requires tenacity. This is not a get-rich-quick program.